right, what's going on, everybody? This is episode 2 of the Spirit Notes music blog, video blog, music channel, whatever you want to call it. And we are in parts undisclosed, better known as Spirit Notes Studios in Stephenville, Texas. And to my right, I have Daniel Garcia, a.k.a. Danny G, the Beast. What's going on, brother?
What's up, bro? I'm doing all right,
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah.
So, I've been knowing Danny for just a little bit. Danny is in Stephenville currently, but he is from the big city of Arlington. And we're going to talk about some music. We're going to talk about some, he spent some time in the hip-hop game, and he's going to give me a perspective that I really don't know a whole lot about, and that is how, the songwriting, the creative process works with the whole hip-hop and rap genre. But, that's something that I want to learn about, and this will be educational for all of us. So, anyway, Danny G.
What's up, bro?
How you doing tonight, man?
Bro, I'm doing good.
How you liking that old fashioned?
Bro, this shit is good as shit. This shit is good as shit.
That's alright.
And this whole setup is fucking dope, bro. Man, I'm so
Why
glad.
you look so clean, man, and I'm looking old as shit.
Man.
Damn.
I need a haircut. I just made sure to put a hat on, you know what I'm saying?
I should have had my hoodie on too, bro.
Sure.
I was rocking the hoodie last night.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Hey, I just want to say it's a good ass drink though. For real. It's some good ass whiskey. What'd you point here?
well, that's what we're gonna say right now, man. We're gonna do our first segment, What You Sipping On? Alright, this good ass drink is made with Early Times bottled in bond. And Early Times has been around for a while. It's been around since around 1923. It's had some different name changes and whatnot, but this particular bottle is bottled in bond, like I say. And you might ask, what is bottled in bond? Well, it is a minimum of 4-year age whiskey. It has to be 100 proof, so that is 50% alcohol by volume. It is regulated, federally regulated. Anything that you see that is bottled in bond is a minimum of 4 years in the cask, and it has to be at 100 proof. Mash bill on this particular model is 79% corn, 11% rye, and 10% malted barley. The legend goes that Jack Beam, I think he was a stepson, or I think he was Jim Beam's cousin or something like that, ventured out and started Early Times, kind of went through some name changes. They kind of went out of style in the late 1800s. Brown Foreman took them over, and they kind of brought back the label. And so Early Times, for the price point, it is delicious. This particular bottle is about $20. You can pick it up anywhere you find your favorite liquors, and you will not be disappointed. It is got some deep brown sugar notes, oak, cherry, caramel. You can find all those things in this really nice $20 whiskey. So that's what we're sipping on, brother.
Bro, this shit is fucking delicious. For real.
All right. It's a good drinker overall, with just a little bit of ice. You can drink it straight. You can mix it in with a cocktail. I am a fan of the old fashioned, so that's what I usually do with my liquors. All right, we're gonna get into some of the music, and Danny, tell me how you got into music, brother. What was your influences? How did you get started?
Man, shit. As far as music goes, bro, you said how I get started. What's my influences?
Yeah.
Bro, really I started just because I had a homeboy who had a studio. He had a studio, and he was like, he's charging people, to record and shit. And I was his friend, so on his off times, on his down times when he was, just hanging out in the studio, shooting shit, I'd pull up and just mess around. So I started getting down, bro, just shooting the shit, recording, hanging out. But honestly, I fell in love with it. not only did I fall in love with like the actual music itself, I fell in love with like the challenge of like actually rapping, being able to rap really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit is hard as fuck. Like if you're thinking like being able to be a successful rapper is easy. Like I mean, I know a lot of these people make it look easy because of the social media and like Tekashi 6ix9ine and
Right.
like fucking what's his name? Dude from Old Town Road.
Yeah, Lil Nas X.
Lil Nas, like all that shit, but this shit is hard. I mean, it takes some skill.
Right.
You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know what's going on. You gotta be aware of everything, bro. Like, it's harder than it looks. So I fell in love with the challenge of it, and just got going, bro. Just started writing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, what I don't want you to do is turn into Little Nas and start twerking with the devil on them shoes, brother. I think that's a little too far.
Fuck that shit, bro. Fuck that shit.
When I saw that, I was like, damn.
That shit's
He
wild,
went
though,
hard,
right?
didn't he? He went
Man.
hard. That's something different I was not expecting, but it is what it is. They're trying to sell some shoes, and they only make 666 of them.
Is that correct?
That is true. Yeah.
Okay.
So
They playing now.
yeah, they're playing. And anyway, there's a whole lot of other stuff. You can look it up if you want to. But it gets pretty deep on those shoes.
Yeah, fuck that, bro.
Yeah, we ain't into that. So anyway, as far as like, I don't even know if you want to call it rappers or hip hop artists or what you want to call it, but who were you listening to? Like, who really got your attention when you was young and coming up?
Who really got my attention? I mean, I'm in Texas, right? So for sure, right off the back, UGK, Pimp C is like, man, he's one of my idols for sure. Like, I mean, this is the whole UGK brand, their music, their whole movement. I mean, I'm a big fan. But Pimp C, in specific, like, bro, that motherfucker was real.
Yeah.
And, so for sure him, he got my eye, and Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg, who didn't listen to Snoop?
Right.
It's a little bit Snoop. And then, I'm thinking like I was telling you before, Ice Cube, guys like Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Specifically him, because he was versatile. Like I was telling you, the music.
He did it all. He
movies,
does it all.
Acting,
Yeah.
directing, all that. So,
And Cube, man, he wrote just about that entire NWA album when it came out. You know what I mean? And that was why he left. Is he had some turmoil with the way that things were going down, and he said, I'm the young buck, but I'm also the one that's putting all these words to these dope ass
That's a bad
lyrics.
dude, bro.
Dr. Dre had the rhymes and the beats, and he was putting it all out there. And Eazy-E and those guys were took advantage of him a little bit. They all had to come up, and they all had to grow.
He was younger, right? He was younger.
Oh, he was like 18, 19.
Teens.
I mean, he was young, and they all were young, and that was the whole scene was young. There was no such thing as gangster rap or anything like that when all that was coming up. They invented it. I mean, rap was still in its infancy.
Up and coming.
And you had the East Coast, West Coast thing. The East Coast guys were coming out with all their stuff, and the West Coast was like, that's cool and all, but we ain't from Brooklyn. We ain't talking about my Adidas. We're talking about gang banging, slinging rock, and what it's like to live in Compton. And that's what they were talking about. That's what scared the hell out of everybody all over the country. It's like, these black dudes are making music that is influencing the entire nation. And Suburbia was all over NWA, and that's why they had the whole parental guidance stickers and all that stuff. All that started with NWA. Ozzy Osbourne, everything that was that they were going after was stuff that was counterculture. NWA was counterculture, and that's I had to get a friend of mine to buy that first album straight out of Compton because I couldn't buy it because I was underage.
For real.
And that's the
I
kind of
remember
thing.
those days. I remember those days, bro. Man, you couldn't. Bro. You had to be some CDs. You had to be 18 and over to buy.
They had the stickers on there, explicit lyrics, and you had to be 18 or have somebody that would buy it for you.
Yeah.
And my mom wasn't about to buy me anything like that, so I had to go out and and bootleg some things just to make sure I had it. But
I
know,
remember getting CDs like Eminem and fucking Kid Rock when he first came out.
Kid Rock, yeah.
Oh man, I was all over it.
Yeah, and I mean, Kid's still out there, Eminem's still out there. And all these guys have lived, throughout the inception of hip hop, and they went through the heyday, they went through some downtimes, and now they're still relevant. But the stuff that's coming out now, it's just it's different.
So, like when you were growing up, you said you used to watch. Was it MTV Raps or what?
Yo MTV Raps was a show that was about the only thing that we had to show us what was going on in the hip hop scene, And I would watch. This is taking way back.
Me and you grew up in two different eras, two different generations of MTV.
So,
you see what I'm saying?
I lived in the generation when they actually showed music videos and had shows that were pertaining to different genres.
Bro, I grew up in the TRL.
No, we didn't have any
era,
of that.
Bro. With Carson Daly and all that shit.
We had real music videos, and that's how we got exposed to stuff, because I grew up in West Texas, man, and we didn't have anything like that. We didn't have a radio station that was pumping out all the latest and greatest. I had to rely on, magazines and, different word of mouth, because we didn't have MTV. We had 3 channels, bro.
Yeah.
And we had 4 whenever you got Fox just right, and you had to get out there with the damn antenna, But we didn't have cable, so, we was country. And so we had, rely on other people saying, hey, check this out. And, I had some friends and some cousins, some family that was always telling me about, check this dude out. I'm like, dude, I don't know who that is, because we don't get that shit.
Where is this in Texas?
Out in West Texas, out close to San Angelo.
Yeah.
And so, out in the country, man, and that's how it was. And I think I told you before, when we were breakdancing and stuff, we just didn't have all that exposure. And, we wanted to be in that scene. We wanted to do all those type of things, but it was non-existent out there. And we had to make up our own raps, and we had to make up our own beats sometimes, because, we didn't. If we had cassettes, like actual cassette players, and we'd have the whole jam box, and my buddy had the jam box, and I'd carry the cardboard, and he'd put on the music, and we'd start breakdancing.
Is there any pictures or videos of this shit, bro?
No, but there's a recent video that
of you.
Yeah, there's a recent video of me breakdancing at work.
Yeah.
We were talking about some of that stuff at work, man, and I was just like, bro. I put on some old breakdancing music, and I was like, "This is how we did it."
So you used to get it a little bit, bro?
Oh man, I could do some shit.
How old were you when I was the shit, bro?
I was probably 10 or 12. And so had the parachute pants, all the bandanas, the Japanese style T-shirt. We was rocking it, even though we was deep in the country.
Yeah.
But
country popping.
Country popping.
Country pop like it, homeboy.
But those are the things that we had to do, because we weren't exposed to all that. We didn't have that available to us, and that was hard on us. Now you have YouTube, you have Spotify, you have everything at your disposal. But now I can make a beat and I can put it out on SoundCloud or Spotify and make an album, and nobody even have any exposure to it like we did back then. We had to have it spoon fed to us, because we didn't have, and that was the same thing, because I was into rap and I was into rock. And the 2 things that I had to do was, search it out in magazines. For me, Metal Edge magazine, I had to grab when I was, whenever we went to the grocery store or whatever we could find it, and I'd, flip through it, and I'd, if I had $5, I'd buy a Metal Edge magazine and see what was happening in the music on that side of things. And then The Source and some of those type of rap magazines back then, I had to, I was like, who's Biggie Smalls, Man,
that's back when the fucking music videos used to have them. Man, bro.
Yeah.
Those music videos back in the day.
They were popping, and they were great, man. And one of the early people that I listened to was 2 Live Crew, man. 2 Live Crew was the shit back in the day.
Yeah.
And they had all the girls, and they had all the bling. They had, back then, they were styling. And it was different.
You see, one thing, granted, it's more easier nowadays to get your music out, especially if you're up and coming rapper or up and coming artist, whatever you are.
Right.
But I almost kind of like the idea of like back in the day how everything was kind of a little secluded.
Right.
Everything was kind of like, hey man, like it was a lot harder to be famous, a lot harder
Right.
to be like that guy, a lot harder to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now it's like, nowadays, because it is so easy to get your music out, there are so many rappers, so many subgenres, so many, different groups and cultures. Like, it's almost like everything's kind of saturated. So, like, if you ask like a teenager right now, what's your favorite music, bro? Like, they'll tell you a whole range of shit. Like, they don't.
Right.
I mean, back in the day, it's like people really leaned into their identity.
Right.
Like, you're a rocker. You're a hip hop dude. You're a breakdancer. You're a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a pop girl. You're a valley girl. You're a prep. Like,
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's good. Like it's good nowadays. Like everything's all open and like it's free range. It's like, Jay-Z had a thing about how these platforms these days, it's so open to just distribute music like so crazy. He called it, it's like the Wild Wild West. It's like the new age Wild Wild West. That's
Right.
why he himself came out with the title, because he was like, bro, I gotta get my hands on this.
Right.
Like it's so many platforms, so many people are releasing music from left and right. Like I said, it's saturated. Like, yes, people, what they listen to, man, they'll give you such a huge range of shit because everyone's listening to different things, different platforms,
Right.
different subgenres, different cultures, different areas, different, the geography where
Regional.
they're at, regional.
And that's what's cool, because like we called that underground, back in the day. It's like if you listen to,
Bro, hold on. I'm sorry. Bro, did you put cherries in this shit?
you got 2 cherries in there, yeah,
Bro.
imported Tashi cherries.
I just want to say I feel important. I feel important because my boy here made me a drink and he put cherries in that bitch, bro.
You always get 2.
I feel
brother.
classy than a bitch.
You always get 2. When I make
Is
a drink, I
anyway-
make it right.
I mean,
You pour as much as you want, bro. There you go.
all right, man.
We will take the cork off and leave it off. And that's the whole thing with like underground. Like, man, have you heard of this band? They're underground. And that's the kind of thing that we were always into when we was growing up. Is you don't know about this band, man, because you got to be in it to know it.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the scenes, like
Rockers,
rockers had the
punks.
leather or the denim jackets with patches, and that's you saw that dude and you were like, dude's a rocker, man.
Yeah.
He's in the heavy metal or rocking. You had the guys that were into the hip hop and they dressed a certain way, and everybody, and that's how it was, man. He kind of identified with the attitude of the day. And,
Right.
I went through phases. I had Raiders jerseys and back in the day and all that kind of stuff.
So like, walk me a little bit through like the beginning of like, all right, I'm a breakdancer. All right, now I'm this, now I'm that, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, tell me a little bit about.
Well, I played primarily in my dad's band. I played drums with my dad when I was 11, 12, and so I was always listening and playing like old Spanish music and conjunto and growing up and old country, and I would literally be ding 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 ding, and it was boring, but it was fun at the same time, because my heart was in other music, but like I said, at the time you were just trying to find what you were listening to and what fit you. And then when I heard rap, and I was like, whoa, what is this, man? And one of the first early albums I got was the Fat Boys. And the Fat Boys were, hip hop, and they were like, beatbox. And beatbox was huge back in the day because you didn't have all that music. You didn't have a Bluetooth speaker. You didn't have your phone where you could just play music. And so if you was walking down the street, in Brooklyn or the Bronx or wherever in New York, those dudes are doing all that, man, because they were keeping a beat, and then and then some dude was like, rapping and shit, and that's what you had to do. And so
no. I mean, like, what?
And so I wore that Fat Boys tape out, man, because I was like, and that was the first one I first had, and I was just like, this is cool, man. And that was like the very infancy of the whole genre. You know, you had Cool Mo D and Big Daddy Kane and all these cats coming out, and Jam Master Jay was one of the first one to scratch a record. But it took years for that to hit from the Bronx into, you know, West Texas and everything else in between, because we didn't have those mediums where you could just go out and find that music. So I went through that rap stage, and then I always loved rock and the blues and all that stuff. So I kind of had that little thing, and then went into more rock. But I love hip hop, and I mean, I saw Kendrick Lamar at ACL, and he was fantastic. Schoolboy Q. Right before, that was that same night that Kendrick played. It was cool because it was like LL Cool J played about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I got up to the front, man, because I was like, LL kills it still, man. And there's some people around me that are younger. They're like, who's this coming up?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, man. That makes
Man,
me feel
fuck that
old,
shit.
you know, because I was just like, this here is a legend, LL Cool J. He comes out and, you know, just the vibe just starts building, you know, and then he just runs out there, and he's still jacked, and he's still, you know, got it. And
he played all his classics.
he played Mama Said Knock You Out, and, you know.
How long was the set?
It was an hour. You know, I'm Gonna Knock You Out, and Going Back to Cali, and I Need Love, and all that stuff. And I was just like, God. And I knew every damn lyric, man. And I was just like singing on every song. Those girls and those guys that were around me, they were just like, he's pretty cool. I'm like, fuck yeah, he's cool, man.
Yeah.
I said, who are y'all here to see? Oh, Kendrick.
Right.
I get it. I love it.
Yeah.
But Schoolboy Q was right after that. My son was into Schoolboy, and I think Childish Gambino was that weekend, and my daughter really got into him. And, you know, we were just like, that was a big year for hip-hop at ACL, because they had a lot of artists.
Yeah.
But that's what's, you know, cool about ACL is you have all these different genres. But anyway, so...
That's cool.
You know, all that kind of stuff. I try to stay up on it, you know, and
so what about recently? Who's been catching your eye hip hop recently? Kendrick, Schoolboy, who else? Anything in the rotation lately?
I mean,
you know, anything like at the gym? You're like, all right, let me throw on some.
At the gym, it's straight up metal, bro.
Yeah.
I got to get some rock.
Yeah.
I mean, God, there's so many of them. I mean, I can. And like you were talking to different genres, I mean, I flip around all the time.
Yeah.
One day it's, you know, rock, and one day it's, you know, hip hop, and I mean, it's just all over the map. But, you know, for me, Childish Gambino is like up there. You know, Donald Glover, what he's doing, I mean, because he's got great lyrics that are intelligent and well thought of. You know, his This Is America video is like, it's a masterpiece. It's you know, it's a telling tale of where we're at in society in America today.
Yeah.
And when you watch that, it makes people uncomfortable, and that's exactly what he was going after, because it tells what's going on in the streets and in the cities and in the urban areas that people don't want to really listen to. And that's what happened when the, you know, NWA came out, you know, and stuff like that, is they were talking about these things that were happening that people didn't really want to. There was Bloods and Crips that were fighting. There was, you know, slinging rock, all this kind of stuff. People didn't want to hear about it, but it was happening.
Right.
And they were that's what they knew. You know, country artists were talking about, you know, drinking beer, riding around in the, you know, on the county roads, and you know all that kind of thing.
Right.
Rock and rollers were talking about different stuff. Those guys back in the day were talking about what they saw and what they were experiencing in daily life, and that was gang banging, slinging, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why people didn't, you know, like all that gangster rap, because it was hard hitting and it was edgy. But you know what? It was happening on the streets, and that's what they saw every day.
Yeah. So, like, Childish Gambino, that, what is it called? This Is America. Coming to America. This Is America. That entire video.
Yeah.
Would you call that performance art?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, right? That's what that is, right? That's what's going on. Yep. I mean, a lot of people get weirded out by shit like that. You're like, what's this dude up to? What does this mean? Like, all this weird shit. But it's like, I mean, it's just a guy who's really talented, who knows what he's talking about, who's really good at rapping, who made a really awesome music video that so happens to be performance art. Yeah. Right?
The last time I think I saw it had like 3 million views.
Oh.
I mean, and I probably saw about, I was probably responsible for about 50 of those views. I mean, when it first came out, I couldn't stop watching it, man. I mean, the beat, the lyrics. He had guitar at the front end. He had guitar in the back end, intermingled with some, some killer rhymes, and the beat was amazing. And then the storytelling, and then you get into the videography. I mean, it was just.
It was all
incredible.
around.
And it was
a piece of art.
It was art.
That's the type of shit I want to do, bro. And this is a good little like segue into what the fuck I wanted to talk to you about earlier.
Bring it, brother.
So, boom. All right, man.
Let me have you come in just a hair, though.
Just a hair?
Yeah.
I'm a little offbeat, huh? A little
You're good. You're good.
My bad, man.
There you are.
I ain't trying to.
I'm trying to touch your leg and shit.
I ain't trying to play footsies over here. Shit. Alright, so I just got a bit of an offer or kind of a deal kind of going on. So I had a friend from high school hit me up, right? And I've been following this guy.
I feel like I got to take a drink for this.
Yeah. Oh, for damn sure. So I had a friend from high school hit me up. This guy, I've been kind of following him a little bit.
Right.
This dude, apparently he's gone on to college, got a degree in, what is it, poli-sci? Political science?
Yeah.
Man, he's been real involved in like a lot of different organizations. I'm not, man, he's a professional. He's somewhere in the like politic field.
Right.
Man, I can't really, I'm not smart enough to tell you what the fuck exactly he does.
Yeah.
To be quite honest. But man, he's like an activist. He's involved with like these organizations that like help fight like certain policies like that are against like on immigration, against ICE, like especially like and he was telling me like I mean, everyone knows about ICE and everything going on with that, but also like some policy he was saying about like people being detained for being undocumented and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Man, I'm not real versed and have the fucking right words to tell you exactly what all he's into, but he's into all that, bro. And you get where I'm coming from with all that area,
exactly
over what he does.
Yeah.
So I follow him because of that. I mean, he's always posting shit. He's always at like these like kind of rallies, kind of things going on. Always like in the fight against these things, bro. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And like, I don't even know if you know this about me, but I was undocumented.
I did not know that. You
didn't know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I was undocumented for like a good portion of my life. Grew up here my entire life. As a kid, went to school here. Bro, learned English, did elementary, junior high, played ball, bro, played football. Learned. Yeah. I mean, I did my deal.
So you're from Arlington. Did you go to Bowie or Arlington High, or where'd you go?
I'm from Arlington, right? I grew up there. That's where I grew up. I went to Arlington Bowie. Right, that was my high school. And I played ball there, played football, and even in high school, man, I played at a high level, and at that district, in that area, there's a lot of high level guys.
That's big time 6A football.
Yeah, it's a lot of high level guys that came out of that area, and even then, I mean, I was going through all that, but it wasn't up until like my senior or junior year where my mom hired a lawyer and did what she had to do to get me right, and she did. It only took about 2 years and a good amount of money to get that going, but bro, I eventually got it done, and I remember one thing where I was talking about is like, hey, I'm playing ball, and what if I get a scholarship and then I can't go to college?
Right.
I can't.
Yeah.
I don't have a fucking social or some shit.
Yeah, I get you.
So it was scary, bro. It's a fucking trip. All that shit. Like a lot of people don't understand like that struggle, and like especially like growing up like I did, like a kid not really knowing what's going on. Like I grew up like I was born in Mexico, but I grew up in Arlington, and I grew up just not really understanding like what the severity of my situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, my parents were always, at least my mom and my close relatives were always real, trying to, kind of take care of me growing up, shelter me off to a lot of what's going on in the world, all the, just trying to make sure I don't kind of get in any kind of trouble that,
Right.
And it's a lot. I mean, like I said, a lot of these stories people don't really know about, and these struggles, of people who grew up like I did, or who have gone through stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfair in a lot of ways, and anyways, if, people should take the time to listen to stuff like that. But besides that, man, I'm trying to boomerang back to what I was originally trying to tell you.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me just stop you there and say,
okay.
People think, they see all these immigrants and they're like, oh my God, they're undocumented. How did they get here? Why don't they do that? Why don't they do this? It ain't that damn easy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go through so many hoops to get anything done. And it takes money. It costs a lot of money to get representation in the legal system to try to get all these things done. And you see that right now, and you see that happening all the time. And it's something that I struggle with because, I'm probably fourth generation Tejano, Texan, American, and I didn't have to fight all that. And it is different for me because I don't have those things that I had to struggle with like you did.
Type shit.
And these kids that are coming in from Nicaragua, El Salvador, all over the South, and are coming up, and it's a problem. It's a dilemma that we have to face, and it's something that we got to try to help these kids, because why on earth would you send your 12-year-old daughter 1,000 miles walking? That's a testament to how bad it is where they're at, man. Because if they're willing to let their child go like that, I mean, it's got to be pretty damn bad, where they're at. I mean, hell, I couldn't, let my kids go like that, and unless it had to be dire situations, and that's what they're facing down there. And it's easy to say, let's stop them here, let's stop. Man, it ain't that easy. It's a humanitarian problem, It's
pretty much.
It's a problem that we have to face.
That's pretty much it.
And we have to try to do what we can, and with all the different programs that we're trying to implement and do, it's going to be a tough situation. But I'm proud of you that you were able to get that done. I know, we've talked about football in our own kind of private conversations, but man, a lot comes down to high school football, because when you were talking about scholarships and all that, I was thinking, my son's up in Colorado playing college ball, and that wasn't even on my radar, and I can't imagine how it was for somebody like you coming up, playing ball and thinking, if I could play football, but where? Because I maybe not have the opportunity to get into college because I am undocumented.
Yes, sir.
That's tough,
yes, sir.
man. That's a whole different avenue that I've never even thought about. So, what did this guy tell you? What was it? What was the conversation? He was telling you something about helping out, or?
All right, yeah. So, oh boy, he's a pretty cool cat. I'm really glad he reached out. Shout out to him. And hopefully we can follow up with some more of this. He's looking to put out kind of like a video content. Just kind of talking about the organization that he runs, and things that they're doing. But honestly, just kind of just a video / song overall about their overall message, statement, their creed, what they're about, what they're doing, and what's going on, and just kind of, I don't want to say an anthem, but like damn near.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So does he want you to get involved in a project musical for that?
Yeah. He wants,
man, that's awesome,
yeah. So he wants me to make a song for them.
Wow.
He wants me to. He's gonna. Work with me, hire me, whatever you want to call it, right? I'm just glad I'm part of this shit, right? I don't want to say, I'm fucking charging this dude, whatever. But you know, I'm part of it, and we're gonna get it going, and I'm excited, bro.
Activism on any level is a great thing, and if I can help you in any way, man, you let me know,
Bro, I'm telling you.
Because that's something that I need to do more of, because I've been blessed with so much, and I need to give back, and I need to be able to have that, you know, opportunity to help people, because, you know, that's something we all have to do better at. You know, 2020 has showed us that we have got to, you know, check on people, love thy neighbor, all that kind of stuff, because I mean, it was a tough year, and that it really brought a lot of things in perspective, you know.
Fuck it. And fuck this year.
Fuck this year. And you know, and if I can help you in any way, man, just let me know.
Man, hell yeah, bro.
And you know what? Actually, tomorrow I'm heading to Denver, and a buddy of mine lives in Denver, and he works with underprivileged and primarily Hispanic-speaking people to get them resources in the Denver area, and he is kind of an activist type, and I'll pick his brain, because we're meeting up tomorrow.
Get his card.
Whenever you see this, whatever it'll be, but I'll pick his brain about some of these things, and I'll try to get some help and try to get some resources to try to help you out, man, because. But on the music side, if you need any help, if I can help in any way, just let me know, because I would definitely be on that
Sweet,
point.
Man.
But that's awesome, man. That
is
pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I got toast to that shit, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's cool, man.
I get that going, bro. I gotta get that going.
All right, and that's gonna let's break on down to another segment called "What Are You Listening to?" All right, currently a new band that I'm kind of checking out and really getting into is a band called Lore, Lore. I found them just checking out some different things on YouTube. They're out of North Carolina. There's a studio up there putting out some amazing stuff called Echo Sessions, and they're out of Asheville, North Carolina. Lore is it's really a two, sometimes a three-piece. The way I got into them is a fella that is amazing at guitar named Lore Jomet is playing guitar for these guys, and Lore is a guitar player that spent a lot of time with Sturgill Simpson. He has some deep rock and country tones, but this band is mainly kind of, I would call it acid blues fusion. They do some really amazing stuff. He does a lot of open tunings with a drummer and then a singer, and that's pretty much it. They are stripped down, they are raw, and they are killing some really cool sounds. And Lar is a guitar player that did a lot of work in heavy metal and in country, and I mean, he's all over the map, and he's from Estonia, which is not where you would normally find some killer guitar players.
Where the fuck is Estonia, bro?
It's over. It was a part of the USSR at one point.
I'm so glad you know that, bro. Because if I caught you off guard, that would have been fucked up.
You know, that whole Eastern Bloc countries. You know, with Estonia was part of that whole Mediterranean area with into Russia, and there's some pretty wild stories of I mean, they went through some really bad civil wars, and they fought the Russians. Anyway, it's pretty wild.
Hell
You can find a lot of stuff on that, but Lar is killing it on guitar with Lore, the band Lore. So, what are you listening to, man? You got anything that you listen to that's new?
What the fuck am I listening to? See, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Like, rap, hip-hop, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that shit has been so fucking quiet and whack lately, bro, that I've been honestly kind of stepping outside of genres, bro. Outside of my normal genre.
Right.
Like you said, we're in fucking Stephenville, right? So I've been listening to a little country, obviously some shit that.
Oh Lord, it happened. It done happened to you.
A lot of these same, a lot of the shit, a lot of these motherfuckers listen to, a lot of shit that we were listening to last night, at the bar.
Yeah.
So I've been digging around, jamming for sure that. And honestly, I just hung out with some cousins from Mexico not too long ago. And they were jamming some badass cumbia, bro. So ever since I've hung out with them, I've been playing a lot of cumbia, bro. Just straight up vibing, waking up, just playing some cumbia, just fucking
and get you going,
chilling at the crib, bro. Fucking, yeah,
that's cool.
So when it comes to rap, hip hop, I mean that's my deal. But lately, man, like it's just kind of been spotty. A lot of different guys. No one who I've been following. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just a lot of different type of guys.
And I think that's a cool thing about being not only an artist, a musician, but also a music lover is if you're just one genre, you're missing out on so much, you know. I mean, you know, it's kind of like that old Bruce Lee thing, you know, don't look at the finger or you'll miss the universe in all its infinite glory. You know, if you just focus on one thing, you're going to miss everything else that's out there, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about music. There's so many different things that you can, you know, vibe on and you know, jeez.
Like, that was fucking cute as fuck. That was fucking adorable, bro. like if you fucking says some shit like that to a girl on like the first or second date, you're for sure getting fucking laid. That night.
I mean, it works, bro. Like, you know.
I'm sorry, bro. One more time. Infinite finger. What was it?
Don't look at the finger, or you'll miss the universe in all its infinite glory.
Holla at your boy, man. Holla at your boy. Damn. That was some shit.
Bruce Lee was a bad dude, man.
I mean, I couldn't just let you walk away with that, bro. I had to kind of stop.
You know, the philosophy of Bruce was you know, it was ahead of its time, man. Back in his day. Holla.
Bruce is a shit. I feel you though, bro. I feel you.
All right, and that brings us to our next segment. Is what actually for the. All right, and I've got here, I don't know if you can see it real well, but it is called Miles Davis Bitches Brew. Have you ever heard this, man?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I've heard of Miles Davis, but I never heard this shit, bro. This shit's fucking wild.
This takes music to another level, like we were talking about, because Miles was always a traditional trumpet player in the jazz scene. He played with everybody coming up, you know, back in the day in New York, and it was, you know, his songs were. I mean, you hear Miles on the trumpet and some of his early stuff, and you just hear two notes, and you're like, "That's Miles Davis," you know. Some Kind of Blue and some of his albums that you know were recorded were just like that is jazz, and that's what it is. But Miles was a strange cat, man, because he was always pushing the envelope. And that's what I love about this album is this is what really started to really change Miles as an artist, as a musician, because Bitches Brew, I mean, it was recorded in November of 1969. You know, the cover itself
Bitches Brew. What the hell yeah.
The cover itself was controversial. The original one had a naked black woman on it, and people were like, well, you can't do that.
I mean,
but, you know, Miles in this era was into, you know, expanding what he could do with music and jazz especially, and formed his own genre called fusion jazz or electric jazz. Yeah. Before, it was very structured. Jazz was this, you know, and you didn't deviate from it.
Acid shit.
And, you know, and this was in '69, and so, you know, the Summer of Love and, you know, mind expansion, and, you know, Miles explored a lot with, you know, different, you know, things. And so the music was what was, you know, he was really keen on. Some of his recordings during this time, he would sit in the middle of all these musicians, and some of the musicians were like, I mean, they were the top heavy hitters in the game back then. You know, Chick Corea, John McLaughlin on guitar, Herbie Hancock. I mean, all these guys were just all young, all didn't know what the hell was going on Miles was this older, wiser cat that was like, you do this, you do this.
Yeah?
And some of the things that they were talking about when they were talking to, when he was recording this was he stood in the middle and they all were making a circle around him. And he would just like, when Miles would look at you, he'd be like, and he'd play a 3-note triad and he would put the horn down and everybody'd be like, the hell's going on with Miles?
Right.
And so the organs, he had 3 organ players going at the same time, electric Rhodes organs, Fender Rhodes. And he would just have everybody just do. And there was a lot of African, Cuban beats.
He was on some telekinesis shit.
He was on another level. And so this is at a time when everything was all about mind expansion. And that's what he tried to do with this album was push the outer limits of what jazz can be. Because at the time, jazz was a very segmented, population. You're talking about underground, you're talking about beatniks and all this stuff, and everybody had this certain genre that they were trying to accomplish with jazz. And Miles said, fuck that, here we go. And he just opened it all up. And a lot of people, a lot of jazz purists didn't like this album, didn't like this new form of Miles because it was so different.
Right.
People that were more into rock, more into, different stuff, were like, this is awesome because it was so different. And that's what was cool about this album was it was groundbreaking at the time. It was so many different layers of music. They did overdubbings, they did different reverbs, delays.
Yeah.
They did post production, but it was something that was so strange at the time that people were just like, what the hell is this? You either love it or you don't. And it's one of those albums that I put on when, like, if my mind is racing, like if I can't really figure out where I'm at, I put something like this on, it brings you to a certain level.
Whenever your mind is pacing.
Yes. When you're pacing and when your mind can't stop, I put on something like this, and it actually makes me focus more.
Relax.
When I'm listening to stuff that's 3 chords and a melody that is so simple, my mind is all over.
It's scattered.
It's scattered.
Brain.
But when the music's so chaotic, it brings me to a center point. And when I really want to get something done, I put on something crazy like this, and it really makes me focus. Yeah. People, when they are studying, a lot of people listen to classical, a lot of people listen to this. Heavy metal. When I'm in the gym and I got my earbuds on and I'm focused.
Yeah.
When I'm listening to this, it's one of those albums that I can just focus on what I'm doing.
So is that why you listen to heavy metal in the gym? Because your focus is shit?
Yeah.
Just ready to beast it out?
I'm ready to, fucking kill somebody,
What?
Yeah. First I want to eat, and then I want to fucking kill somebody. Because when I'm at the gym, I'm hangry, man.
Hey, yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
But I'm focused on what I'm doing because that music is so, heavy and chaotic, and it's just like here, and then you get it here, and you're just...
You have the tunnel vision.
You got a tunnel vision.
I feel that.
When I was in high school and we were getting ready for a game, man, I had, the loudest, heaviest, most crazy music I could find because I was focused on trying to kill that person in front of me, dude, man. I want to tear them up.
Bro, I feel like me and you operate on 2 different wavelengths. Like, you come from a very specific... Like, you're... Like, what you just described, bro. Like, heavy metal, crazy, like, instrumental music. Mm-hmm. Like, you're fucking zoned tunnel vision in.
Right.
Whenever I think of, like, a competition, like me getting ready for a football game, dude, I'm from the Dallas scene. I'm from, like, Arlington, bro. I'm from, like, Dallas hip-hop, which is, like... You're like more so not really just not necessarily like assassin, killer, just tunnel vision, like focused. You're more so hyped up.
Yeah.
You're like wired the fuck up. Like you're so fucking like you have so much energy. Like you're literally like bouncing up and down. And
exactly.
Like that energy. It's that. I think it's that Dallas energy. It's a little bit different than from where you come from. You feel me what I'm saying?
It might be that, and it might also be just a generational thing because the stuff that I was probably listening to back in the day, it was different from what you're listening to nowadays. I've asked, when my son was playing ball in high school versus what he's playing, listening to now, it's kind of the same, but it's different. Like everybody has their thing, and and that was just a personal thing because I was like,
Yeah,
I was on the
man.
perimeter anyway. I skated the edges of the perimeter at all times because I was not the norm. I didn't conform to a lot of things that people were doing back when I was growing up. I was always pushing, the envelope, and so a lot of people were listening to just generic AC/DC whatever before a game or that sort of thing. But man, I was like, I wanted Slayer, I wanted fucking Metallica, I wanted any of the hardest Megadeth, anything that I could find to just get me into that zone. Because all I wanted to see red and just totally annihilate whoever was in front of me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I still try to do when I'm in the gym. Is like, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And that's what music does for me. Is it gets me into a different zone. Like if I'm this,
So,
I'm that.
I have kind of a crazy question, bro.
What's up?
We're talking about what kind of music you're playing in certain situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the bedroom.
Oh shit.
What we playing for shorty, you know what I'm saying? What we playing for shorty, bro?
I'll say this.
You got a playlist? You got like one or two songs?
No, I don't have a playlist. I have an interest of music that might be entertaining to that certain person. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like if I'm somebody that might like this music, then I know in my mind, all right, well, I know what this would be. If they like this kind of music, I'm like, okay, well, this might work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I feel
what
that.
you got? What you hitting?
Shit.
What are you hitting when you're hitting?
Boy, I'm playing some shit up cumbia. I'm in that thing like, what's up with it?
You trying to get them knowledge? Vibe on it.
I'm like, swing your hips. Nah, I don't fucking even know, bro. I don't even know how to answer the question to my damn self. Whatever the fuck. Probably the same answer as you. Whatever the fuck she likes and shit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we talked about some of the music, some of the influences. How long were you in the music scene? I mean, you have some stuff out on YouTube. You have some videos, which I will link in the description box at the bottom whenever this is over. I'll put some Danny G music up so you can check it out. How did that music scene go for you when you were in it?
All right, so to be honest, bro, like I've been dabbling in this shit for fucking years, bro. Like I know so many people and so many like networks and groups of people that it's fucking ridiculous. Like everything from regular like rap industry shit to like battle rap shit to DJ scene shit.
Mm-hmm.
Videography. I mean, it's just so many like brand like I'm just I know so many people, so many groups of people. Like I said, I mean, even just starting off, when I started off, I was hanging out with the guy, my best friend. He's a photographer,
mm-hmm.
and my other good friend, he had that studio. So, like it's like all my friends, they were into some shit, and like I said, I started making music through them first, and I really started hanging out in Dallas a lot. The Dallas kind of hip hop scene, kind of Dallas, downtown, a little bit of uptown, a little bit of Deep Ellum kind of area.
Yeah.
And some Denton.
Denton's got a great music scene.
Yeah, Denton's music scene. A little bit of everywhere.
Yeah.
Fort Worth for sure. Arlington for sure. A couple of bars and small venues here and there. Doing the open mics and small shows, and I mean, I got exposed to a lot,
So was it like 8 Mile, like the whole Eminem thing? Like you just show up and battle on the mic, with some thing?
Yeah, no, it wasn't nothing like that. I just was around it, you know what I mean? I never really got into battle rap per se, but I was definitely around it. Whenever I did shows, I either did open mics or did small shows, small local shows, paid, not paid.
Yeah.
a mix of it all. I definitely have music videos, which I'm sure homeboy here is gonna set y'all up to check it out. But I just kind of hung around the city. I hung around the DFW. I really try to meet as many people as I can. I met a lot of DJs, a lot of people who are kind of known in the scene, known in the area, and really just made a small footprint, if anything. But lately, I'll be quite honest, I haven't really been so active within the recent years, but I've definitely been connected and have been networking and been close to a lot of people in different scenes who have been doing that.
So one thing I wanted to ask you was, when I write a song or I want to learn a song, mainly when I write a song, I've got a chord structure, I've got a melody in my head, I've got a few lyrics kind of, and then I put it down. How do you start the process of writing a song in hip hop? Like, do you get a beat first?
Yeah.
Do you get the lyrics first? How does that work?
Yeah, the thing about hip hop, it's a 50-50 relationship. As much as of a lyricist and artist and all this shit you want to tell yourself, you're nothing without your beat.
Right.
I mean, even like folks like what's his name? Old school battle rapper. He used to be for the Eminem, Cannabis. Dudes like SPM. They even used to in the studio. The metronome, the tick, 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 tick. Even off of that, those dudes used to
formulate a sequence.
I'm over here trying about to
Right.
and they could even rap off that. So rapping without your beat is nothing. So for sure, it's all about the beat and how you're feeling it and what it's telling you. I don't know what it is about music, chords, beats, and instrumentals in general, but if you're a vocalist, whether you're singing or rapping, and you're an artist, if you're playing chords or you're playing a melody, you're playing a beat, you're playing an instrumental, whatever it is you're doing, it speaks to you.
Right.
And whatever people call it the muse, people call it creativity, people call it whatever the fuck you want to call it, but these melodies, these beats, these instrumentals, they speak to you, and whatever comes to mind, whatever your body feels, you're saying it, you're writing it down, you're perfecting it, you're polishing it, and then you're putting it out. You're recording it, and you're seeing how it feels. If you like it, then it's a song. That's exactly the shit that James Brown used to say. He used to be like, "Hey man, like, are you sitting here worried about what key you're on? Do you feel it? Do you like it? Is that what you're feeling right now? Then it's music. Like, why are you
Well, two things off that. One, NWA was notorious for not paying their musicians on their first album, especially. You listen to NWA's first album, there's so much guitar, there's so much instrumentation, and you don't hear it until you really listen for it. Like me as a guitar player, I hear the guitar layered in there. And they had, especially Express Yourself is a song that I always liked because it had funk guitar, funk had a vibe to it that was just funky because they had that guitar player.
Yeah.
And I kind of gravitated to some of that type of stuff. Run DMC, man, back when they were, first, Raising Hell was an amazing album. And, they had stuff like King of Queens and Walk This Way. They added heavy guitar into what they were doing. Anthrax, Public Enemy, they did a collaboration. They did Feel the Noise.
Yeah.
Heavy, man. I mean, it was like music that was could draw from the, metal edge to the rap thing.
Right.
And that's what was cool about that back in the day. So I gravitate a lot towards, musicians, rap artists, whatever you want to call them, that lend to musicality in the form of, having instrumentation involved with the beat. And then the second part was that, when you're writing songs as a hip hop artist, do you feel like, do you think, in your mind, are hip hop artists or rappers, would you classify them as singers, or what would you what would you say they are?
Man, that's a good ass question. I would just straight up say vocalist. Vocalist. I mean, like,
which is a good ass answer.
Yeah, because that's probably damn near the difference between specifically rap and hip hop.
Right.
Like, dude, rap is straight up fucking bars, bro. Like, you want to talk about rap? We're talking Kendrick Lamar. We're talking Eminem. We're talking straight up spitters, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like this, like that shit is straight up. Like, if you're not writing shit down and like perfecting it and like getting your black belt and like rhyming and like fucking just writing hot 16s and.
Is that something you've done, or do you do?
Dude,
do you spit?
Yeah,
do you come out with it, man? Do you just feel it and go?
Bro, fuck yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. Is like I'm well versed in this shit. Like, I understand what it is to be a complete rapper. Like, not only like, honestly, people like Drake have kind of redefined what exactly a rapper is because of the fact that he sings and raps.
Right.
So he has a whole different approach to recording music and making music, but. Don't get it fucking fooled. Like, rap is still rap. Rap is still at the core of it. Like, I understand my fucking history. I understand that the five, from the get-go, the 5 elements of rap, graffiti, breakdancing, DJing, and spitting, or some shit, right? I can't really remember all of it, but I'm not.
You had me going, man. I was like into it there.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand, like, the original, the core of it, which is like, it's bars, it's spitting, it's vocals, it's like, what are you saying? So if you're not able to deliver a message and put in that groundwork to be a good vocalist, a good rhymer, a good MC, then you're just a mediocre rapper.
Right.
So even guys like dudes who are famous now who you might think haven't put in the work to be where they are because of their music now, like their original, like, back there, if you look up their background, they started with the rap shit, the straight up just vocal, like, bar shit. I mean, even guys like Lil Uzi, he makes like what you would call mumble rap, like this newer trendy shit.
Lil Baby.
Right. But if you look up his older shit, he was actually kind of like an MC. You know what I'm saying? So he understands, like, he has that foundation of like, all right, it's almost like, like a sport. Like, you got your foundation, your fundamentals down. Now you can kind of expand and do some wild shit. You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna take you way back, and an album such as this, like the old original form of hip hop and rap, they would get a crayon and mark the sample that they wanted.
Yeah.
The start and the finish on the sample. And they would have 2 turntables and a microphone going. And they would have the beat that they wanted, the sample, on this side, and then the hook on this side. And so Grandmaster Flash, all these guys would take it to another level. And that's what started the whole thing, man, is like, they took an album like this, a vinyl, and marked out what they wanted to sample. This is before, auto tunes and all the different programs.
Just software, digitally.
Yeah. And they were doing it on the street, man, and at house parties. And that's what was amazing to start with, is they took real samples from James Brown. A lot of them were James. And they sampled that, and they would take that needle and move it to that specific point on this album, and then this album, and they had the the faders in the middle, and they would rap to that, and that was the inception of hip hop. They sampled music. Nowadays, you can sample music through any sort of whatever DAW that you want. And it's so
easy
easy
as fuck to make music, bro. Especially rap music these days.
You can make so many different albums or songs and just sample music with what's out there digitally. Yeah. But back in the day, they did it old school, analog, off the original fucking vinyl.
Oh, man.
And those guys, man, I mean, hats off to them, because they were doing shit that was, leap years ahead of everybody because they did it from the beginning, groundbreaking. They were making a whole new scene.
Who else besides NWA? Or some of your favorite rap groups?
I mean, I was into Biggie, Eminem.
No, besides just individual guys, rap groups. Cause like one for me is for sure the DJ Screw